Do the St. Louis Cardinals have a plan for this offseason? Who knows? It seems like whether it's changed or it's at least just been spun differently. I think people are more confused now than ever about what the goal of this offseason is as the winter meetings start today down in Dallas. We're going to talk about all the things the Cardinals could be up to, what we think they'll actually be doing, and then like what's the deal with this offseason? What's the plan for 2025 for Mo and company? All this and more on this episode of Deal on the Cards. Hey, this is Dealing in the Cards, a St. Louis Cardinals podcast. We go live twice a week. We have prospect pods, Q&A pods, all different kinds of things. We react to the St. Louis Cardinals news, rumors, give our takes, interact with you guys. We always appreciate your support. Like and subscribe. It helps the channel out a ton. We're looking forward to bringing you even more content this offseason, including an awesome charity stream next week that we'll talk more about. Actually, it's just talk at the top, right? Like next Thursday, we're going to be at 314 Sports Cards and Collectibles. But you can watch online as you normally would or join us in person. The three of us and Bernie Michaelis are going to host a charity podcast with all proceeds going toward Big League Impact. We did it last year. It was really fun. This year, we've announced some of the guests, but we'll also have more announcements to come here soon. And we're just super pumped to raise money for a really good cause and talk about Cardinal baseball, talk with some really fun Cardinals related guests, maybe do some, sounds like we're going to have some fun giveaways potentially. I don't know if we can talk about any of those yet. Andrew, if you can, go for it.
Not yet.
Okay, not yet. But they could be pretty cool, not going to lie. So, and then maybe you do some fun like bits during it too. It'll be a great time. So appreciative of Bernie for being willing to host it with us, 314 for giving us their space or allowing us to use their space. And yeah, we hope you tune in for that and tell your friends about it. And then donate to the cause as well. Yeah, like and subscribe helps the channel a ton. We'll be continuing to give Cardinals content as we go through. But boys, the winter meetings started today. I think they really will ramp up tomorrow. I have a feeling Juan Soto will be signing within the next 24 hours to one of the New York teams. So that's big news. Obviously, the Cardinals are not in that market. And here's the confusing thing. I don't know if anyone knows what market the Cardinals are in. Are they sellers? Well, they're not buyers. It's like, are they? So basically, are they sellers or are they standing pat? I don't really know. I don't know. Did you guys get to listen to Tom Ackerman's comments this morning or John Mozeliak's comments? Tom Ackerman this morning basically went on and Ackerman kind of asked like, what's the plan? And basically he kind of alluded to like, hey, Mo, you never really said it's a tear down. You guys think you could be better than people would think. And Mo basically responded, yeah, I think we could be pretty competitive next year. And he highlighted, which I think we've highlighted for them to hit their ceiling, specifically Nolan Gorman and Jordan Walker, two guys next year that they're planning on giving 600 plate appearances to and seeing if they can become middle of the order bats. So I do like that strategy. But then that also means they may hold on to some other competitive pieces like a Ryan Helsley, a Nolan Arenado, even though I think we all think he's going to leave. They're obviously holding on to Contreras and Sonny Gray. And then so that was kind of some of it too. But he did say they're getting a lot of calls right now, and especially over the last week and a half, that the volume has increased significantly and that they remain open-minded to things. So whether it's posturing, whether it's real, I don't know. So let's just start with the episode question and then we'll kind of get into it. Sandy, do you think the Cardinals have a plan?
No. Well, I don't want to say no, but like it feels like they don't. The messaging is so weird and so mixed. It's just hard to say at this point. Okay. I'll lean no. Like I think they have a plan. Do I think they're going to stick to that plan? For sure, no. So is it a hard plan? Probably not.
Andrew, what do you think, man?
I mean, I think they have a plan. I just don't think it's a good one, right? Like, like they, I think, are going to trade Arenado and Matz and going to try to recoup some of that value. But at least for Arenado, like right now, it seems like there's like no teams on his list, right? Like it seems like the MLB TR article that was like, there are very few teams on Nolan Arenado's trade list. True. Probably the Dodgers. And I don't know who else is on that list. I know the Dodgers are on that list, but I don't know who else is on that list, right? Like, and it's rough because whichever team is going to end up acquiring him is going to have a lot more leverage now because there might be other teams that are interested. Like the Angels might be interested in adding Arenado. Do I think Arenado will waive his no trade clause to go to the Angels and a situation that's probably worse than here, but closer to home? Probably not, right? Like, and
maybe
there's a lot of teams that could be interested and just won't be able to get him because Arenado is going to say, no, I don't want to go there. Right. And that's really frustrating. I wish that there were more teams that are on his list, but at the end of the day, he did sign this contract. And I don't know. That's how it is. The Ryan Helsley situation is really frustrating. I do not think that A, the Cardinals should keep him, and that B, they should extend him or try to make him a starter or any of that stuff. Because I mean, like it's worked a couple of times, but the times that it's worked are like Seth Lugo, who started his career as a major league starter and he wasn't great, but then he was in the bullpen for a little bit and then he is a starter again. That kind of reminds me a lot more of Steven Matz than Ryan Helsley, honestly.
Can we agree on this? If the Cardinals keep Ryan Helsley, he has to be a starter.
I can agree.
I don't know, like, because
I think that's
okay. I agree with you if they aren't
closer.
trading him. Like if they're not just if they're keeping him beyond next year too.
Yeah. If they extend Ryan Helsley, the plan has to be make him a starter, and if they don't,
like,
I think it's stupid.
There's so many instances where it just like I feel like it's gone wrong more times than it's gone.
Name one.
Right. Hicks.
Okay,
Ronaldo Lopez got hurt.
I don't even know if it went that wrong.
But he was awesome. Ronaldo Lopez at a sub-2 ERA.
Lopez was amazing.
He couldn't handle the length.
Oh, Shohei can't handle the length either. Like, come on, dude.
Now we're just
people
are like Ryan Helsley could get hurt. I'm like, literally any pitcher who throws
he's
a
already
pitch
gotten hurt
can
before,
get hurt
too.
And newsflash, every pitcher gets hurt today. Every pitcher. I'm like,
I can't get behind that.
Like also Lopez's metrics were so weird. Like you look at his expected metrics and like he always outperformed them. And I was like, he's going to come crashing down. I tried to trade him in fantasy and his numbers just never crashed down. And like, I don't know, but like,
here's the thing that people aren't talking about Helsley enough. You have to look at him specifically. He has the body build of a guy who can handle more innings. He's not a flimsy, wiry guy who you're kind of worried about.
Pretty wiry.
Like he's got the frame. He was a starter and was successful at it. It's not like he was like, oh, he's
like in the lower minors.
Yeah, but so I'm not.
Andre Palante was a successful starter at one point in the lower minors, and then the Cardinals turned him into a reliever, and then they turned him back into a starter, and look what happened.
And also, like we're talking about a guy that we've seen at the major league level have 2+ pitches, and his curveball is a plus pitch. If he throws, if he just gets back to throwing it more, he could be a 3-pitch guy. Of course, he probably shouldn't be pumping 102 when he's in the rotation, but upper 90s with a slider that's better than his fastball, and you mix in a curveball as well. He has the repertoire to be a starter. And for all the times we're like, why can't the Cardinals develop a starter? Why are they doing the same old ground ball pitchers? I'm like, so why are those same people also against the idea of Ryan Helsley joining the rotation, who could be it? And also, like, I just think this guy's good enough that, like, let's say you put him in the rotation, you extend him, and in the middle of June, it's like Ryan Helsley is a 5.5 ERA and it's not going well. Or we think he's cooked as a closer too. I think it's probably pretty likely he could transition back to a closer role. It might take him a little bit to figure out, but I think he'll have it. I think the risks or the rewards far outweigh potential risks with Ryan Helsley as a starter. And I think people are like always clamoring the Cardinals should do something different. But then like we present a different idea that other clubs, like not just one or two, all around baseball,
don't like it. Yeah,
are doing this and having success with it. It doesn't mean it will work with Helsley, but it's happening with guys who are far less talented than Ryan Helsley, who are finding a ton of his success. I think Ryan Helsley could be awesome as a starter. And honestly, even if he's not awesome, if he's a number 3, number 4 starter, that's more valuable than him as a closer.
Well, and like, I don't think the Cardinals are going to have to pay up to keep Ryan Helsley because they're going to pay him premium reliever money. But if you pay him premium reliever money and then he turns out to be like a solid 3, that's market value. Like I don't understand. Like, even if you're paying Ryan Helsley $18 million a year, which is probably premium reliever money, maybe a little more, I don't know, for like 4 years, that's a normal contract for, like, look what Luis Severino just got. I don't think anyone's saying that Ryan Helsley can't be Luis Severino as a starter. Look what Frankie Montas just got. You know, I mean, not as many years as Helsley's going to get, but that's pretty crazy. You know, I think if they do keep him, you have to make him a starter. And I'm still on board the potentially extending and making Ryan Helsley a starter. So,
but we know the Cardinals
rather the guys that it's worked for. Like listen, like Garrett Crochet, it kind of worked for half a season, and then
don't say it kind of worked for half a season
because
Garrett Crochet had a good season. Garrett Crochet had a really good season last
year. Metrics came back up, like his ERAs and stuff went back up, and then he was on an innings limit for the rest of the year, and he's entered his career as a starter in the major league. So like he's not like, it's not like he wasn't a starter. The reason he was in the bullpen is because he got hurt, and
He's
His
young.
metrics came back up to a 3.58 ERA, 4.1 WAR pitcher. Like that's a really good pitcher.
And he was
That's
throwing
still
like
better than
3 innings
almost
a game
anyone.
for like this entire second half. Like
That's okay. So that is part of the risk, is that year one of transitioning someone to a starter, there's probably going to be a wall that they hit. But again, we're talking, what do we care more about for the Cardinals right now? It's 2026, 2027, not 2025. I don't care if in 2025 Ryan Helsley has an awesome first half as a starter and then flames out a little bit in the second half. It's like, okay, build up for 2026, 2027 then. Like I think timeline wise, this actually makes a lot of sense if you're extending and keeping him. They're not going to do that, I don't think. And I also don't think if they did, they would even make him a starter unless that's a Heim Bloom thing. What they're probably going to do is keep him for 2025 for the bullpen or trade him. Yeah, Cody just put up Ronaldo Ronel Blanco.
Good shout,
if you
Cody.
go, I can't. My Wi-Fi is being weird right now, so I don't want to risk it. But I wrote a story probably like a month and a half ago where I found 9 different starters in the last year and a half who are relievers who had turned into starters, and most of them were really like, yep, Michael King was one of them who
Good
found
shout.
success stories. Clay Holmes is about to do it, and also it's not just the Mets wanting to do it. Like a bunch of teams around the league.
Be bad. Like we don't know.
That's true,
Sure,
and
sure,
so
could
could
be
Helsley. But it's also like he could be a number 1, number 2 starter. And like think about like who has more potential to be a number 1, number 2 starter, Tink Hence or Ryan Helsley? I would put my eggs in the Ryan Helsley basket right now.
I agree with that.
It. Like, and people are like, "Oh, you can't trade Tink Hence because he could be an ace," and it's like, couldn't Ryan Helsley? Why don't we try it? Anyways, I'm gonna get off the soapbox because it doesn't matter.
I feel like there's other guys you could do that aren't this one. You know, like you could do this with other relievers. Because his ceiling as a top tier closer is so high that you could just move him. It's not that hard. Like you're gonna get something back.
Okay, so is the thing you're gonna get back in return more valuable than if Ryan Helsley is a frontline starter?
Maybe if you're gonna pay,
probably not.
Pay Ryan Helsley like $15 million a year to do it, then yeah, maybe for like a prospect that you could get like for nothing.
Yeah, but there's also a really high probability that prospect doesn't work out. And that they're like
you're going to get a top 100, at least one top 100 guy for.
But it doesn't mean that guy works out. Like it's more likely than not that guy's actually just average as a big leaguer, if not worse. Ryan Helsley, I know he's a beast. I don't know how he does in 5-6 inning stretches. That's sure. And guess what? That's why the Cardinals should have done it 2 or 3 years ago instead of waiting till now, which they're not waiting till now because they're not going to do it. They're
also like Andrew, you mentioned Jordan Hicks as a problem, and like Jordan Hicks, his ERA peaked this year at 4.11, which was after they'd taken him out of the rotation. Like the ERA was still really low. He was still giving you good innings. He just wasn't giving you enough innings. So, I mean, even if that's like an example of him flaming out, all that happened was Jordan Hicks started giving the Giants less and less innings. Eventually, he was still like getting through 5.
I would rather have an all-star closer than that.
Well, so here's what happened. After that, they took him out of the rotation. He went back to the bullpen and went straight back to being like a well above average reliever. So it's not like you ruin him if he's not a great starter.
Here's something I want to kind of dispel a little bit. The thing that he can't throw 2 innings right now, that's never actually been a thing. It was to protect his arm because there really is no evidence out there to tell us one way or the other, which is more impactful on an arm. But like most people think that if you're going all out multiple days in a row, that is harder on your arm. And especially if you throw 40 pitches one day, 3 pitches or 10 pitches next day, that's harder on your arm than every 5th day in a consistent rotation. And so they were trying to protect him health-wise, but also like this is the bigger thing. It's been reported a lot. Ryan Helsley got shafted in arbitration because he didn't have enough saves to get the money. And so like from both sides, the Cardinals like, hey, let's keep you healthy and let's lock down the 9th. And from Ryan Helsley's side, it's like, hey, I'm not going to get paid unless I get saves. And the Cardinals could have controlled that. The Cardinals could have given him more and settled for a higher number, but they played the arbitration game where we're like, oh, but you don't have saves. And he's like, because you told me to be your stopper. And like, so he's like, I'm not doing that anymore. Happened with Josh Hader in Milwaukee. So again, sure, he could get hurt and it could be a terrible experiment, but also like the return you can get for Ryan Helsley, it could be good, but it also could be nothing. Like it might like on the surface immediately look good, but like we've seen so many big trades happen where the team gives up X amount of prospects that are supposed to be really good and they don't work out. And I'm like, I have a bird in the hand right now in Ryan Helsley. Potentially, I'm going to try it out. And then worst case scenario, he probably continues as a closer at a high level. So anyways, the thing though that we need to talk about with Helsley is they're probably not going to make him a starter. They're probably not going to extend him. It sounds like from Mo's comments since we last recorded that they're going to be, at least unless they're heaven and earth moves, they're keeping Ryan Helsley. Well, that's probably too extreme. Unless they get a really good offer for Ryan Helsley, he's sticking with the club. Yeah. I personally read that as that makes sense. Like, you're not going to trade him unless you get the offer that you want for him. So I'm curious where you guys are at. I think there's some opinions out there that if he's on the roster come opening day, you have failed. I don't think that's true because we're not in the meetings. We're not in the trade negotiations. Like, if the Cardinals are getting 80 cents, 70 cents on the dollar for Ryan Helsley in trades, I think it makes more sense to hold on to him and see what you can get later. Also knowing you can get him a comp pick, probably assuming that like things don't go totally haywire, versus you just have to take whatever the best offer is out there, even if it's not good enough. I don't know, but that's where I'm at with this. I think they're actually genuinely they're open to moving him, but they're not going to force it. Some people think that they purely want to keep him, though. Other people think that keeping him at all, even if they're just not getting good offers, is terrible. Andrew, what say you?
I don't know. I'm done trying to read what Mo is trying to say with his comments because it just doesn't make sense. Because he'll say that Matt Carpenter's your starting third baseman and then go out and trade for someone we don't care about 3 years later.
Wait, time out. You just totally spun that as a negative that they traded.
No, I'm kidding. Anyway, but like sometimes he does say things that are not true. To just kind of throw people off his trail.
But time out, doesn't that make sense? Like,
yeah, no, it does.
Like, I think people are mad that he's not like. Why are people mad that he's not saying we are trading Ryan Helsley this offseason no matter what?
Just refuse to comment.
It's like Baltimore's going to look at that and be like, okay, we're not giving you enough. Then like you have to make them think you have some leverage here.
But it's like in this like offseason, like relievers are going to come at a premium because what Aroldis Chapman got like. Okay, Adam Wainwright was a reliever, but he like
that doesn't count.
It doesn't count. Like the relievers turn starter thing. Like you have to have started as a reliever with the intent to be a reliever, and not like Andre Palante came up his first year and made like 4 starts. Like that, he's not a reliever turned starter. He started before. Like Ryan Helsley has never made a major league start in his career. But and most of these guys that we're listing, like Crochet and Michael King and Ronel Blanco, have all made starts at the major league level within the last like couple of years, right? Like it's not. And Michael King, I think, started for the Yankees at some point last year, and he didn't stick, and he was in the bullpen, and then the Padres needed him, and he was really good, and like that's fine. But like these guys ramp up to be starters, and they're expecting to be starters, and they just go to the bullpen because maybe it didn't work out, and then they become starters again. Like that's fine. Like that happens all the time.
Yeah, but when you go to the bullpen,
I don't
change
like,
your regimen. You change how you're training, and you're no longer ramping up to be a starter for a year.
This isn't just us pointing it out. Like there's around the industry right now. It's a storyline of.
No, I get it.
So it's not, but it's not like you're acting like it's a normal thing. People around the business are not acting like this is a normal thing. It's a new trend that there's guys who, even if it's just 2 or 3 years, were pigeonholed into reliever roles. That's a long time to not start and get thrown back into the mix. And most of these guys weren't like super successful starters until this time around. They were like, because if they were, they never would have ended up in the bullpen.
Yeah.
There's risk.
I don't think we've seen a reliever as high profile. It would be like if you like turned Edwin Diaz into a starter. It's like that just doesn't make sense. Like it's not.
But what if the Cardinals start doing things that are proactive and they don't have to react to other teams doing it first, and they start leading the industry in smart decision making, and this ends up being a good thing? And then the Brewers are like, why didn't we make Devin Williams a starter this whole time? You know, like why can't Cardinals be the ones that set the trend? Well, let's make John King a starter.
To quote Mo, honestly, that's a better idea than Helsley at this point.
No, it's not. No, it's not.
To quote Mo, this is why Josh, you will never work in a front office. But
and sorry, I'll stop yelling. Whoa. Hey, that was directed at someone else, not me.
That's crazy.
That was crazy. That was crazy by Mo, not gonna lie. But
yeah, I don't know. Like I get that, like I don't know. Mo can go about it without like saying, oh, we're intent on keeping Helsley. Like he doesn't have to say that. If like there's a way to not say that and still like be like, maybe I'm gonna like maybe like we need a good offer to move him. Like there's an in between to like say it like that, but also Mo's not good at PR.
I think he did say an in between. I think people are reading too much into it where he said we will always remain open minded, but for right now he's in our plans for our club. It's like That's what you should say about every
I
player.
mean, like every single player except for like 3 people in the entire league, you should say that for.
Exactly. So like I don't think he said anything that's crazy. Like I think people are overreacting to it a little bit. And also some of it's like you're at a point now where they do keep talking about how they want to be competitive, and you lose Ryan Helsley, that definitely hurts. But I don't think I think there's a world where they trade Ryan Helsley and still think they can be competitive. Because like especially we're talking about this return, like what if they get some MLB ready talent? I don't know. It's whatever. But at Kareem's point, this is something they should have tried out years ago. I don't mind taking the risk now though to pay him top shelf reliever money, which would be middle tier pitcher starting pitcher money, to see if he works out as a starter. And if he doesn't, then you just paid him market value for a closer. But
yeah, who they really should trade is just Erick Fedde. Like, please get him out of here. Like,
what do you guys think? This is fair. Like, so what do you guys see as a good trade for Ryan Helsley? What is his value?
It's really hard to assess.
That's the other part.
We've talked about this a lot. I don't know. I think the Cardinals are looking for probably 2 top 5 prospects in someone's system, depending on the system. If you have like a top tier system, they're looking for a top 100 guy and then a guy in your 6 to 8 range who's a fringe top 100 prospect, I think. And then they're probably looking for another throw in. I don't know. Or they're looking for maybe not top prospects, but MLB ready talent. Like, it's hard to tell how the Cardinals want to judge this too. I think the Cardinals want to be competitive in 2026. So they probably don't want a blue chip prospect who just finished this season at, low A. So I really don't know. Maybe they probably want people concentrated in the upper levels. It's just really hard to tell, to be honest with this. But probably 2 top 8 prospects in any system that are close to MLB ready.
Yeah, I think. Yeah. Oh, go ahead, Andrew. You go.
No, I feel like that makes sense. I would probably say like at least 1 top 100 guy, and then like I don't know, another like interesting, like close to major league ready, like maybe like a not like, I don't know, what's the comp, like a Drew Rom or 2. I don't know, and then like a top 100 guy, like. I don't know. Hey, the Cardinals front office, like they told me why I'll never work for them. But anyway, that's a different story. But I don't know if I should. Yeah. Anyway.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, I think I think I
on one.
All right, guys. Andrew called Mo and asked him why he wasn't named Pobo and Waiting instead of Bloom, and it blew up in his face.
Yeah.
All right, there we go.
That's true.
Anyways, I think I generally agree. It's just hard because it's like, even like let's say you get the 90th prospect in baseball. It's like, cool, that's a flashy number, but it doesn't necessarily mean he's that person's actually a better prospect than the guy who's not ranked.
Agreed.
Like, that's where like, and even especially like farm system rankings, it's like, oh, you get the 5th ranked prospect in someone's system, and it's like, well, that could be kind of garbage compared to the Orioles system or something like that. So that's where this all gets really tough. And then from a prospect standpoint too, it's like, I'm not gonna lie and act like I'm some Jackson Ferris, like I've been watching all of his tape lately and just know he's the next frontline starter. It's like, I'm kind of going off the analysis of people I trust and people who are watching it a lot and kind of agreeing with it, or like trying to do a little bit, but I'm not some professional scout here. So like when it comes to prospect packages, that's where it's harder for me to be like, oh, this guy for sure. Like, who knows? But I think it's got to be something in that range value wise. Otherwise, like, I think at that point, like, let's say you're not getting those offers and the best you're getting is like, let's say it's like even just like Thomas Sajaci or like Takeo Roby, like what they got for Jordan Montgomery. Like, if the package is they're and just one of those guys, I'm not even saying both because it's not the deadline where you're selling the frontline arm. Let's say like a team's offering you a Takeo Roby type plus John Keane equivalent and Drew Rom. It's like, honestly, I would probably rather not make the trade right now then and wait till the season and see if I get more at the deadline, because I think he'll be healthy then. And if he's not, then there's a like, sure, the value losses are there, but I think if there comes a point where I could see the deals they're fine, but they're not like great. And I think it makes more sense to wait it out and see what you can get later. I'm not saying the Cardinals need to play a hard bargain of like they need 120 cents on the dollar right now to make it happen. Like even if it's 90 cents on the dollar, it's probably worth mitigating the risk there. But I just think people are not, until the market starts to move and we know what's actually happening. Like, sure, teams are calling on Helsley, but it doesn't mean it's good offers. And it doesn't mean for sure they're happening later. Like, I don't like when people on Twitter are like, they're going to get a good offer. It's like,
Yeah.
how do you know?
Hopefully.
You're not in the room. And like, so like, and neither are we. So I can't say they're not getting it, but I'm also.
I mean, they might not, but I would find it really hard to believe that there's not one of the other 29 teams that's willing to pay something worth it.
Potentially, but also those other 29 teams could look at it like, hey, like, I don't know if we're actually, like, they might think they're competitive next year, but they're not sure they're a closer away from being competitive. So why pay that price now when I can go out and get it at the deadline and know who's healthy? Like, what if you're like the Orioles and you're like, well, I could trade for Ryan Helsley and he could blow out his elbow in April, and I just gave away Kobe Mayo. They want to give away, but they just gave away like a top prospect to get this closer, and now he's done for the year too. Like, they're probably looking at it like that too, where they're like, I'd rather pay Kenley Jansen a 1-year deal than trade a top I mean, I think someone will pay the price eventually, but I would not be shocked if a bunch of teams just look at it as, we'll take the guy who's 70% as good as Helsley or 60% as good as Helsley, and if he's healthy at the deadline and we need him, then we'll be like, man, we wish you had him before, but we'll pay the price now, rather than preemptively paying it and having an injury happen, or like they don't have a good season and now they have
if your team is bad, exactly.
Which if the team's afraid of it. Well, yeah, I was gonna say, if the team's afraid of that, I would be like, if I was in that front office, I'd be like, well, then we could be the team that gets 120 cents on the dollar. So like, but there's probably teams that don't like that risk.
Yeah, 100%. The other thing is too, you mentioned Kenley Jansen. Like, there are a couple of other big closers on the market right now that aren't necessarily trade candidates. They're free agents. And so maybe the Cardinals are holding to see how the market shapes up. Yeah. Like if Tanner Scott goes out and gets a massive contract, that changes things for Ryan Helsley. You know, if he gets the biggest deal on them, if he gets a humongous deal that surpasses projections, like we've seen some starters get, all of a sudden Helsley may have more value because maybe teams are more interested in top closers.
Think about if he gets no money for him and turn him into a starter. I wonder.
Well, oh yeah. Well, think about the two teams that just went to the World Series: the Dodgers and the Yankees, whose closer situations kept changing all year long. You have Luke Weaver end up becoming the Yankees closer, and then is Kopech basically the closer of the Dodgers at this point? Like,
Trinan
was Trinan, and so, but like these aren't Ryan Helsley. So like you also don't have to have, but he's not Ryan Helsley. So like I think sometimes like there's probably other teams that are like, hey, if I'm going to be trading big stuff, I know I need a starter to win the World Series. I don't necessarily need Ryan Helsley to win it. Would he be helpful? For sure. But I just don't. I mean, I think there will be a team that's aggressive and does it, but I also would not be shocked if there isn't. Let's think a couple of our sponsors real quick, and then I do want to. Kareem just put a comment that I think is worth us looking at a little bit here about Devin Williams, but we want to thank 314 Sports Cards and Collectibles, located at 9640 Olive Boulevard in Olivet. They're open 10 to 5 Monday through Friday and 9 to 4 on Saturdays. They're presenting sponsor of our podcast. They buy, sell, and trade all sports cards and Pokemon cards, and have the newest selections of packs, boxes, and single cards of local players and stars around the league, whether it's a Mason Wynn pitching card, Shelby Miller rookie card, some football cards, hockey cards, boxes, all that kind of stuff. 314 Sports Cards and Collectibles has got you covered. We hope to see you there on next Thursday for the charity live stream. But otherwise, go in, check them out, let them know we sent you. Sounds like there's actually some pretty big people who go shopping there pretty frequently, from what I've heard from Andrew. So awesome. we won't out those people, but there's some 314. You pull some big names in, so good for Devin and the team. And we also want to talk about our new partnership with Underdog Sports. They're our favorite place to play fantasy games. You got to check out Pick'em. It's an easy way to play. You just pick 2 to 8 of your favorite players or players you think are going to do well around the league, and choose whether or bad, and you choose whether they'll go higher or lower. You can win up to 20 times your money going 5 for 5. Does it sound like fun? You can sign up with our promo code CARDS to claim a free pick. So again, you just get to make a pick, and if it doesn't work out, you're not penalized for it. And you get a first-time deposit offer of up to $1,000 in bonus cash, which is really nice to get started playing. We can't wait to see your entries. I've been pretty good on mine, actually. I know Sandy's been like on fire with his picks.
I've been okay.
Basketball.
We go up and down.
Lately.
We go up and down. It's fun.
The nice thing too, and I think we talked about this last time, is there's a feature where you can do, what's it called again? Oh,
flex,
where you can get a pick. You can get a pick wrong, and so you don't get as much of a payout if you go that route, even if you get all the picks right. But it's kind of like a little bit of like a a safety guard there where it's like, hey, like, or safeguard, like I want to make these 4 picks, but like I'm afraid one of them's gonna mess up my pick 'em. You do that route, or if you want to go 4 for 4, try it, do that as well. But yeah, use our code cards. Let us know if you do, and yeah, show us what your picks are. Here's a good call out from Kareem is that if Devin Williams is moved, that should be a good precedent of what we can expect. So I do think if we see a Devin Williams trade, then we probably can safely say that the Cardinals are probably getting comparable offers on Ryan Helsley, and that's what the market is. And then we can assess like, oh, Devin Williams got this much. The Cardinals would be idiots not to trade him, or oh, Devin Williams only got this much. Like, I don't know if it makes sense to move him right now. So we'll see. Maybe Charles gets traded first. Maybe Williams does. Maybe neither of them get traded. We'll have to see. So, anything else you guys expect to see at the winter meetings this week? I think if Juan Soto signing, Willy Adames is off the board. Could we see Nolan go soon?
I think it's possible. I don't know if it's like definitely going to happen. But yeah, you're right. Big dominoes are starting to fall. The Adames contract was pretty huge.
Yeah.
I thought he was going to get some money. I didn't know he was going to get like $180 million, you know. He's a good player though. He's a really good player.
Really difficult to sign because some of them can turn out really well, like Corey Seager. But I feel like a lot of the big shortstops that I've signed recently have been really underwhelming. Like Trey Turner's been okay.
Big shortstops at the top of the market.
Like Javier Baez is horrible. Dansby Swanson's a bad signing. Trevor Story was a bad signing, which is a Chaim Bloom signing.
Story's just been hurt. Like it's hard to.
It's not gonna. I don't think it's gonna work out.
Yeah, but it's hard to say that that's because he's not a good player. The Javi Baez just sucks.
Hey, look at like a Hall of Fame level pitcher right here that transitioned from closer to starter. Closer to
very nice, very nice. Also, just so you know, Adam Wainwright did appear in 61 games in 06.
Thought he went the other way, but
all I'm saying is,
I think he went back and forth.
I don't know.
It's
because he got hurt though, but like whatever.
It's tough to tell whether that'll work out well, but I think it's a good signing for the Giants. I like Adames. Well, I don't like Adames because he terrorized the Cardinals for several years.
I feel like Adames could end up like he's in the same tier as like a Correa to me, and Correa hasn't done well. I don't know. I could see him.
Correa's been valuable. Correa's been a valuable player.
Well. He's been fine. He's not worth what the Twins are paying him.
Correa racks up value with his glove and his bat. He's a pretty good player. He's not like an MVP candidate right now. But Adames has never been an MVP candidate either. He's just had a couple of really solid seasons that he's put together.
What's the AAV on Adames' contract?
Pretty high.
Like 25, 26.
Whoa.
That's a lot.
Giants had to do it at this point. Like no one wants to go there. Yeah,
Why is that true? Why is that true?
Apparently, like there's concerns about the city. Like I think players like in terms of like safety and like that it's like post-COVID that things have kind of like derailed a little bit. Like I've heard some stuff on that. That's hard to attract people now.
But they've been in on like everyone who's big. So I'm kind of shocked that this is the biggest signing they've ever had.
Well, they did sign Carlos Correa and Arson Judge, but Carlos Correa. Let's not mess with that. I feel bad for John Heyman for what happened the other day. But anyways.
Oh yeah, that was tough.
Yeah, not great. People are rude. So yeah. Okay, here can I give something we haven't talked a lot about yet? And I'm about to get called like whole nose water here, but
the Dodgers.
No, not the Dodgers. No, I don't want to talk about the Dodgers.
There you go.
I do want to talk about the fact that the Milwaukee Brewers just lost Willy Adames and might lose Devin Williams this offseason.
That'd be really nice.
Okay, Josh.
And Christian Yelich is coming off a major injury. Is this the year they finally fall apart?
You know how you said this?
I hope so, because I'm sick and tired of it.
Than ever. You should learn from your mistakes. I think Shota Imanaga is going to be really good this year, Josh.
How many times have I said the Cardinals need to fully commit to the reset this offseason? A lot. Even so, I think that they should trade Helsley, and if the offer's there, and they should trade Nato. But I still would not be shocked if they're competing for the NL Central.
I think the other three teams are better. They're going to be better.
Maybe. I mean,
no, not all three.
About the Reds,
you don't think the Pirates are going to be better?
I think the Pirates are going to be better. You think a full year Skeens isn't going to help?
Okay, yeah, full year Skeens can help a lot, but like they're still going to be playing Jack Swinsky.
What was their record last year?
Not good.
They were
bad every year.
They were buyers at the deadline.
Yeah, the Pirates were also buyers when they acquired Chris Archer. I'm not scared of the Pirates until they actually prove something to me.
I think the Pirates
finished 76 and 86, 17 games out of first place. So like, I mean, a full season Skeens will help, but like, I don't.
Probably
I mean,
like
he was
3 or 4
already
more
incredible.
The Pirates have to prove
Like,
something.
The
to
Cardinals.
Me.
The Cardinals were how many games better? They were 5 games better than.
it's not that many.
Wait, or more. No, there were 8 games better than the Pirates last year. That's a sizable margin.
Yeah, but the Cardinals are going to get worse. The Pirates are probably going to sign a couple of guys. Like they're not going to do nothing.
We'll see. I'm
Also,
not.
it's hard
Again,
to say
I'm
the
not.
Cardinals are going to
not
get worse.
spend in this window with Skeens. It's just not going to work.
I'm not telling you the Cardinals are going to win the NL Central next year. I'm like, I would not pick them today. I'm not going to do it.
Who would you pick?
The Brewers still. I'd still pick the Brewers. Yeah.
Josh has learned from his mistakes.
No, I picked the Reds. I think the Reds can be really good. But
until I see otherwise, I'm not picking anyone against other than Brewers.
Both the Reds and the Pirates have to prove something to me at this point. Neither of them has done anything remarkable in the last decade. Both of them have to finally prove that they're capable of building a winning team before I ever give them any more preseason love. The Reds and Pirates have collapsed over and over. The Reds have built at least 2 cores that they say is a playoff core, and then that core falls apart and it's all gone.
They do have Terry Francona now, though.
Yeah,
so I do think that's an interesting wrinkle to the whole thing.
I don't think David Bell was a terrible manager. I don't think Jim Riggleman was a bad manager. I think they should have kept him. They made him the interim, and then they got rid of him after he was really good down the stretch. They should have kept him all the way back then.
Spicy.
Also, we talk all the time about how managers aren't actually that important on this show.
Yeah, they're not.
So Terry Francona going to Cincinnati, for me, is not the thing that tips the scale.
I mean, Counsell made the Cubs worse. Well, he didn't make them worse, but they got worse.
They got worse.
I could see the Francona effect being real with the Reds because, like, I think he's a guy that, especially with a young team like the Reds, can help navigate that ship a little bit. But the Reds will have to prove it to me. Okay, like
they have to prove
Ellie De La
Cruz
Cruz Twitter will have
to prove a starter because he can throw 109 miles an hour.
That was hilarious. I think about that all the time.
It's like when someone's like, "How often do you think about Rome?" or for Andrew, that tweet. Oh my gosh!
Hey, Prospect Dugout still thinks about that tweet, so I bet, and all 300,000 of their Instagram followers, but
they'll never own it. But
yeah. Anyway,
okay, so let me back to the Nato stuff though. Like, do we? I mean, I'm convinced he's gonna be a Dodger at this point, but
I can't see. I mean, I was talking to the people I talked to in Dodgerland. I can't imagine. Like, I don't get why they would want that. I really don't.
I mean, if you're moving Muncy around, you could do it.
So then you have Muncy at second, which I don't like defensively. I don't think Muncy
or left field.
Has he ever played that?
No,
in his career.
But I mean,
I don't like
crazy.
The Dodgers love to move people around, though.
Yeah,
Mookie Betts moving all over the place, and he's an MVP.
Because Mookie Betts is like, have you seen what Max Muncy looks like? He does not look like an athletic guy, Sandy. Like
that's not very nice.
I mean,
Max Muncy went to Baylor.
Oh, okay.
He led the stadium yell for the last game of the season.
Ooh.
A lot of people were like, "Wait, Max Muncy went here?" It was kind of funny.
That's funny.
Yeah, but like, I don't know. Like, you put Muncy at second, you have Edman at short, and then Arenado at third, and then like what? Pai center, Mookie and right, and Teoscar is probably going to come back and play left. And I mean,
if they got Nato, there's no way they bring back Teoscar too.
I agree with that.
Well, I think.
I guess no way, but that seems less.
But then, like that, I definitely can't see it because I think Teoscar is just way better for the clubhouse. Like, he's a great clubhouse guy. He is a better bat. His defense is not going to be there. But
like Teoscar, you're probably committing 4, 5, 6, 7 years to. Nato, they just have to do 3 years at a reduced rate. Like, I think
Teoscar wants to be there. Teoscar really wants to stay. And
but I don't think he's going to give up a big payday to do it. Like, he's going to want market value.
Yeah,
and sure they can defer money, but
he's already deferred. The thing is, he signed a 1-year deal and deferred like $3 million of it.
Yeah,
they're paying that out in the next 10 years. But
part of that's because he wasn't getting offers other places. Yeah. So he's like, I'll go to LA, rebuild my value. I don't think I mean, sure, but could he take a little bit less to go to LA? But I still think it's going to be a 5, 6, 7 year deal at a sizable number that I can see, because the Dodgers at this point, they have so many guys on long-term contracts that they have to at least get a little bit picky with some of it so they can still entertain Juan Soto when he's on the market, or entertain I'm trying to think who the next big mega fish will be at some point. Cal Tucker next offseason. Like, they're going to want to
not Juan Soto, but I mean,
those level of players that are better than Teoscar Hernandez.
Cal
so
Tucker's
like
really good.
again, I could, if they get Nato, I think that rules out Teoscar, but also it's the Dodgers, so they could do whatever they want. But
True.
who knows? Phillies, Houston, LA, but apparently Buster Only was saying that, and Gould's been saying this for a while, that there's only a select teams that Nato will go to. So
Yeah.
I like
I
the
wish
Chris
we knew
Taylor
what those
package
teams
a
were.
lot. I will happily take on Chris Taylor if it means the Cardinals eat less of Arenado's contract and they get something back, right? Because
If
for
they
the
get something
Dodgers-
real back, but I don't want Chris Taylor in St. Louis.
But for the Dodgers, like correct me if I'm wrong, but if they move Chris Taylor, if the Cardinals eat money equivalent to the Chris Taylor contract, they'll still get penalized by the tax the same amount. But if they move Chris Taylor, they get penalized less. What?
Apparently, the Diamondbacks were trying to do a trade of Jordan Montgomery for Cody Bellinger. Like, not straight up, but like that kind of package.
No, that would suck.
For Cody Bellinger?
That would really stink. I would love for the Cody Bellinger deal to go south for the Cubs.
I mean, they're trading him.
Yeah, hopefully not, though.
Yeah.
And I just know Jordan Montgomery in Chicago would cook.
Yeah, I think he'd actually be good there. I think he'll be better next year than he was this year.
I think he'll be much better.
Trade Arenado for Jordan Montgomery.
I would do that.
So that's the thing. Like
Trade up.
your point, the thing, Chris, to the Chris Taylor side of things, in a vacuum, it's a good. I think that's a straight up swap. Value wise, if the Cardinals don't eat any money in Arenado's deal, is a good trade for the Cardinals because you're getting rid of 20-something million next year, 15 million 3 years from now, and set like 11, 12, 13 million this year because of Nato's contract with Chris Taylor's. But the Cardinals need to be pursuing value. So I'm like, if they're taking on Chris Taylor, I also want them to eat money on the contract on top of that to get real value back.
And you're not really saving much.
I mean, I guess it depends on what the Dodgers value. Do the Dodgers value saving so they? Well, no, they're adding payroll next year if they bring on Nato. Well, I guess so. They're saving.
They're adding payroll either way, I think.
Yeah, So, but they would probably bring on about an extra $8 million then compared to Chris Taylor.
Yeah.
So if they value that a lot, maybe they'd be willing to give up something significant. But I kind of think the Cardinals still have to kick on years or money on 2026 and 2027 to get something real back. Yeah. But I guess it depends on what's our definition of real. Is a real number 8 prospect in the Dodgers system? Even though I just told us earlier that like these comparisons are dumb. But like, is it that kind of thing, or is it like a real dude? Like, I don't know.
For Chris Taylor and Tyler Glasnow.
Ooh, I'll take Tyler Glasnow.
Bad contract. I don't like that contract. He's anyway. Whatever.
Bobby Miller.
No, it's not. It's never happening. I would trade. Would you trade Jordan Walker for Bobby Miller right now?
No.
I feel like that's the most interesting one.
But I do. It would be kind of funny after 2 years ago when the Dodgers really wanted Nato, but there was no shot there to give up Bobby Miller to get him. If it came full circle and the Cardinals and Dodgers both sell low on both of them, it ends up being a swap. But
that'd be hilarious.
And it'd be hilarious because we get Bobby Miller. I'd love
River
that.
Ryan would be great, Kareem, or Landon Knack potentially. But
they're both TJ guys.
See, I'd be celebrating even if the Cardinals had to eat a crap ton of money if they end up with something like that, rather than they just got out of a ton of money. Like that doesn't help fans at all. Like, but
yeah. If the Cardinals get rid of money, like who cares? Yeah.
Especially if they're not going to go spend. Like if they're
using it to
go spend. But
I feel like the Cardinals getting out of money this offseason is like they're not putting the money back into the team, so I don't really care that much if they get out of it.
They're going to renovate the Arby's next door, Sandy. I don't know what you're talking about.
There's not even an Arby's downtown.
Oh my gosh. Which also too, like, okay, so how much their Michaelis' contract comes off the books next year, but then Sonny Gray's jumps up another 10 million. Steven Matz comes off the books. I feel like there's another contract that does. But then they do have arbitration raises again to Newbar, Gorman, Donovan. And then they'd have like
Erick Fedde comes off the books, but that's
yeah. But I mean, $7.5 million is not nothing. But
you get rid of Erick Fedde, and then you don't have to worry about it. But they're not going to do that because they're not smart.
That's what we're thinking.
I would love it if they got rid of Erick Fedde.
They don't have a plan, or they do have a plan. It's just let's compete again next year and not actually make the playoffs.
Do you think that's really their plan?
I genuinely don't understand how the DeWitts are going to get fans back. Like, I don't. Like, it's not going to happen, right? People aren't going to come to the games if. I feel like if they trade Arenado, less people are going to come to the games, and if they, I don't know.
I don't think that they're trying to contend as in like pushing for it because obviously they're not adding, but I don't think they're like they don't, and also like they don't need to gut the team. Like trading Helsley and Arenado isn't gutting the team. Like it really isn't. And Fedde, like I mean, it makes it even more likely that you could lose a lot of games, but it also I still don't think that it's impossible for this team to win 80 something games. So I think it's that where internally they think Gorman and Walker are going to bounce back, and if they do, like that's a part of the formula of being a pretty good team next year. If they don't,
I hope they bounce back.
But I think that's what they mean. I just don't.
The 3 true outcome leaders. The only 3 hitters last year with 3 true outcomes over 50% were Aaron Judge, Tyler O'Neill, and Nolan Gorman. The issue is that Nolan Gorman strikes out 50% of the time, and Aaron Judge is a home run 50%.
But we literally saw 2 seasons ago him, even with too high of a strikeout rate for my liking, be
really
awesome.
good. Yeah.
So
really
like
good.
I think it's really interesting how quickly we've gone from like just every episode you talk about the future of like, man,
it's
Jordan
totally
Walker,
within the range
Nolan
of possibilities that he's really good. Like I don't think we should discount that at all.
And same with Walk, but then also they could be bad or one's good and one's not. Like we'll see.
That's true.
Tyler O'Neill got a bargain. Like that's not enough money for Tyler O'Neill in my mind.
Yeah, Orioles did well there. Good deal. And honestly,
too.
I think that's a sign that they could move some young bats to go get
What
pitching.
if they traded Tyler O'Neill for Ryan Helsley?
Ryan Helsley.
Please, no, not that trade.
Maybe let's end on this. I think it's a good like finishing question, and we'll be back this coming week. But I think what Eric is trying to say, if anyone gets moved at the winter meetings, who would it be? I think it's Nato, if anyone. I don't think Helsley yet.
Maybe it depends on if Juan Soto actually signs.
Oh, Matz.
But yeah. I mean, Mo made it sound like the things are in motion and that people are going to get traded at the winter meeting. So
I don't know. It's so hard to put a timeline on Fedde and Matz, though. Like I feel like once the right offer comes, that just happens.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the pitching market's already moving, so that could come any day, or it could never come again. It could not come.
Yeah, for sure.
I think if
put a timeline on that.
Like once Soto signs, we'll have more clarity on who might actually be in on Arenado. Because if the Yankees get him back, then I don't think Arenado like fits there. I don't think they would trade for Arenado.
I think he still fits there. Actually, I think they still are looking for someone to play third.
Well, they have Jazz there right now. Jazz can move anywhere, so I'm not worried about that. But like, I just don't know if they would add more to the payroll with a guy like that, because I think the Cardinals. I think like when another team sends cash over, you still take the luxury tax penalty for Arenado.
Are the Yankees that concerned about the luxury tax?
I think they're more concerned about it than some of the other teams. Like,
and with Soto coming in, they would be concerned. That's fair.
Oh, did we talk about this last time? Do we give predictions? I still think he's going to be. Oh, yep. And Kareem just asked too.
Yeah.
I think Soto's going to be a Yankee. Cause I think it's like Aaron Judge, where at the end it like seems so like he's going to leave, but I just cannot imagine, even if Cohen gives like some crazy offer, that the Yankees are going to look at that and say, we're going to go let him go play for the Mets. Like I can't.
No, it's such a bad, like it would be really funny because
I want him to be a Met. I think it'd be hilarious, and I could root against him.
I kind of like him on the Yankees.
Yeah, I agree. Actually,
I think
agree.
You're a Judge Glazer, Sandy, and you want him to have protection in that lineup. But
yeah, I do. It'd be way more fun for him.
I like when the Yankees are just good enough to be a threat, because then it's like baseball's fun and everyone can hate on the Yankees. It's not as fun when they're not good.
I agree with that. Actually, that's a
the
great
Dodgers
take.
just take that role now.
And he also just looks like a Yankee.
Yeah,
I actually dislike the Mets more than I dislike the Yankees.
I agree with that.
That's valid.
I'm with you there.
So
I just don't care. Either way, he's probably going to be on a team I don't like.
Soto to the
and
A's.
Maybe he really likes Sacramento and wants to sign a 3-year deal there until they go to Vegas. Yeah.
Imagine if some mystery team came out and got Soto. It was like
the Cardinals.
I mean, what mystery team? If there was, it's not like this is a completely nonsensical conversation, but like what mystery team could even make a run at him besides the Dodgers?
The Phillies. The Dodgers are in. They're one of the 4 teams in. They're the only team that's not going to offer him $700 million.
Would mystery be one of the non-5 finalists then?
Wait, what's the 5th one?
Because Red Sox, which that would be like, I think that would be like, I think it'd still surprise people. Like, it'd be.
Wait, Who's
I would
the
actually
third
love
team?
to see him as a Red Sox.
Am I
Heimblum
missing?
created the situation that everyone wants to go to right now. Just saying.
Yeah. Am I missing the third team here?
The Blue Jays.
Oh yeah, they're not getting him.
He's on a flight to Toronto, actually. Right.
They should not sign him.
Here, the
They
crazy,
shouldn't.
the crazy bold team would be the Phillies
or the Cubs.
No.
The Nationals.
It would suck if it was the Cubs.
Nationals would be funny.
The Nationals would be hilarious.
But I don't
know.
know.
I think the Cubs they should acquire some big time free agent, and they've been in on guys in the past. Like they were in on Ohtani, I guess.
Yeah.
It would suck if he went there though.
They were in on Imanaga, and I was telling you guys that he was a sneaky under the radar guy.
No. All you said over and over again was how much Imanaga was going to suck, and you were
Andrew,
so wrong.
If you ever create some tribute video of me, but it's just bad taste, I'm just gonna go find all the Imanaga stuff you put together.
Good
I know.
That's the problem when we're when you have a public podcast, you're gonna get some takes wrong. It's way easier to just tell your friend and then never have to acknowledge you said that. I don't know what player is going to be awesome and what player.
Hey, there's a certain Cubs podcaster that's eating Japanese food every day. He's going to be eating Japanese food for the rest of his life.
You don't need beef.
But
it's too late.
Anyway, that's too late.
Hey, we always appreciate everyone tuning in for our Sunday podcast. Check out Underdog again. If you use our code cards over on Underdog for a first time, you can get a bonus offer and then also a first time bet no risk there. So go check that out. Oh, well, pick them is what we call it.
Yeah, we don't do bets. We don't bet.
No, pick them. And then also 314 Sports Cards and Collectibles. Again, next week we've got the charity live stream. Really excited about, but we'll be back on Wednesday and then this coming Sunday. Again, I always appreciate the support. We'll probably go live if something crazy happens at some point, like if Nado's Dell or Helsley or something. But otherwise, we'll see you guys on Wednesday. Really appreciate the support as always. Like and subscribe, host channel a ton. We'll see you guys next time. Peace.